And I don't think in competitive it would be. I mean, you know what it could be? Man, why you got to make me think?
There will be that potential between the kicks of Lee Sin, the knockups from Alistar, and the barrel displacement from Gragas. There's a lot of opportunities for this Yasuo to pop off.
I'm really liking the Ahri actually in this kind of situation. Against Yasuo is not going to be great, but into the later stages when you're going to have the Lee Sin, go for some potential deep dives and trying to connect those kicks. The instant connection, you don't even have to aim the charm, to be completely honest. You can just go for the auto aim, and you can connect it instantly on top of Fora Difference on the Lee Sin. By the way, in case you guys are not familiar, but Fora Difference actually... Oh, wait, no, it's not Fora Difference. It's You're Awesome. You're Awesome is Sko, which is another name. I think that... I'm not sure if this is a Smurf or not, but maybe he just doesn't want to change his name, but... So, you know, You're Awesome is Sko, but we're going to use the name as You're Awesome because it makes it a little bit easier on the broadcast to deal with. But at least you got the information out there. But as I said, yeah, the Ahri against the Lee Sin, if Lee Sin is being a little bit too overzealous and a little bit too confident, that one charm connects, and that is Lee Sin already out. It's going to be very, very quick. So Lee Sin's got to be very careful of how he approaches those engages because Ahri is going to be a big underlying threat if he's not careful.
Just to clarify, you're talking about You're Wonderful?
You're Wonderful is Sko, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you're saying You're Awesome, and I was like, who is he talking about?
Yeah, I know, I'm all over the place. I know. But yeah, I was talking about Fora Difference,
I just
especially.
Wanted to make sure. Just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. But
Wiper's gonna have the Bayside Gen, right?
Yeah, exactly. the mid lane matchup is going to be really intriguing for me here. The Yasuo versus the Ahri. Obviously, Yasuo, if he can, time his wind walls he can block both the orb and the charm from Ahri, is going to be extremely important to pull that off. Because if a charm lands, you just eat so much damage from the Ahri. So got to be very careful there. And we do see a lane swap for the side of Team Queso, sending their duo up into the Baron lane.
I just stopped talking about lane swaps in general because they happen every game. I'm just like, it's what if it's normal. It's cool. We do know for a fact though that the devs, especially Jonathan, JCM was talking about getting that nerfed. So it is something that will get eventually changed heavily. So it's not something that's going to be usable anymore. But Acolyte into the bottom side, going to get it flashed upon by Fora Difference, and that's going to be a first kill gun away of SNG. It's going to be a little bit of cross-mapping. They're trying to pick their own turret, but in the top side, that's going to be a 3-man push from Team Queso. They already got himself the first plate, so normal lane swaps, cross-mapping, trying to get early game turrets because they're so easy to take down as a 3-man. Nothing out of the ordinary when it comes to Wild Rift.
Flashbacks to 2018, I think, League of Legends, when this was the standard on PC League of Legends, and it was abysmal. That was the worst period of time in competitive League of Legends when lane swaps just happened every game. You would have 50-minute plus games because the first 20 minutes were just spent in the lane swap with no teams even looking for a fight. It was horrible. But right now, we actually could be seeing some action up in the top.
There you go. That's going to be EQ able to find himself an easy frag onto the side of Edrosend. Gonna get the charm. We said it. When you get charmed up, that's gonna be looking pretty nice. He gets himself the great knock-up onto the Corki, forced to flash away. And You're Wonderful trying to get himself some extra engage onto Riz, but not able to find anything. I just realized the music is still rolling in the background. There you go. No more music. We are good. Luckily, it was just low enough, but a few frags coming out. 2 frags the way of Singularity. So they're off to a pretty good start. 1 kill to the Lee Sin, 1 kill also to the Yasuo. And Yasuo is one of the scariest characters, I would say. One of the scariest champions in this entire meta. Reason why is he scales so good. If you get ahead early game, the damage you can just one-tap people, and the CC brings to the table too is insane. They buffed his ultimate damage upon level 3 of 100, which is not an insane amount, but if you just get a 5-man, that's an extra 500 damage throughout the entire game. He can still turn the tides in his favor really easily. So Yasuo, if they don't approach these fights, knowing that Yeku is going to be popping the hell off later on into the game, this might be very scary for Team Queso to deal with.
Yeah, it's going to be something they have to very much keep their eyes on. But, they have plenty of tools to deal with the Yasuo as well. Yeah. You have the Olaf that can just ignore the knockups. And then you, of course, have Malphite and the Rakan that can try and knock him up themselves and see if they can just get the burst between those knockups. If a charm lands on him, like Yasuo, if he gets caught out, he does not have a lot of defense. He is very squishy and can just get deleted. So it will be down to just really a skill matchup of if Yaku. I'm not going to pronounce that name. If the Yasuo is able to navigate these team fights and avoid the crowd control himself.
I heard people say the name as Yikyu, but that's just what I've been hearing other casters say when they were going over it. The one I'm struggling with the most here is going to be actually the Olaf for the side of Team Queso. Andres Z, I think that's how you're going to go for it, so we'll run for that for now. Andres Z. Andres Z. Maybe we'll see, but one thing for sure, though, the Cloud Drake is slowly going to be ticking down.
Oh,
Can they smell it and steal it away? That'll be pretty big. It's down to 5 few HP, and Olaf is able to snatch it away with his own respective smite, and he's got the Ragnarok 2 onto the backline, can't get CC'd, and get some really big damage onto for a difference. But he's not able to convert it into a frag. Redemption going to have to flash through the wall, and so Andres Z is going to have to move away from that fight entirely. That is going to be an extra 2 kills. Going to have Singularity as Malphite, and also the Rakan fall down to their knees.
Yeah, Dragon does go the way of Queso, however, so they do come out with the objective, but they do lose out on the kill. So gold advantage currently in favor of Singularity, 3,000 or so in their favor. But again, that Dragon, that will be a permanent buff on the side of Queso.
Yeah, especially cooldown reduction, that's going to be making matters very easy for the Malphite to go and find those opportunities to re-engage. So he's going to be really happy to have that. And not only him, but also Andres Z on top of that Olaf. If he's able to get himself that ultimate cooldown reduction, he is going to be really happy to be able to re-engage at any time in that game. So being able to find more opportunities, especially with that Malphite, that's the main point I'm thinking of, is going to be a great way for them to find as many opportunities and openings as possible coming into the mid to late game stage. Those out. I think he knows that he was potentially going to get collapsed upon. Going to have to dash away from that one with a body slam. Make it away. But so far, Herald also up in the next 30 seconds. We saw it being pretty useful coming down to the... Well, it is always useful, but especially in that last matchup of Tribe versus Footballist, they used it extremely well. Footballist too, I got to give some respect to them. The moment they had it, they used it pretty well. But now, whoever's able to get that one, it's definitely if they can also push the mid lane with it, that will be a big one. Redemption pushing, but not going to be able to find significant damage for now.
I like that. Memorized, knew that he had been spotted, knew that they knew he was in that brush, and just stood there waiting, hoping to see if they would waste an ultimate or something on him. But meanwhile, Olaf gets completely caught out and deleted. That should be a free Rift Herald going the way of Singularity as a result.
Unfortunate one, seemed like they also going to try and collapse on top of Zor. Zor likes to try and go for those little bit of a deep jungle positions. But they're doing like no they're doing like 0 damage to him. An absolute male alpha. He's just chilling. But now, okay, now he's getting bursted. It was about time he was going to get taken down. And Riz is going to be able to pick himself up for himself, so he's going to be looking good. His first kill actually throughout this entire game. But we got the Herald we mentioned earlier. Got picked up, and that was used by SNG in the top side. Going to be forcing a big response on Team Queso here.
Yeah, very curious to see this Herald used so early. I mean, yes, they're going to get the plates on this turret, but typically, like I said, you wait and use that Herald to force a play around the next dragon, or in a situation where you can follow up with it. Instead, they use it. They get 1 plate, I believe, out of it, and that's it. Like, that's a complete waste of the Rift Herald. I don't agree with the decision to drop it in that top lane whatsoever. As now Queso is going to be able to, kind of bring everyone up and say, hey, even if you wanted to try and follow that up now that that turret is a little bit lower, there's no opportunity to. So very, very strange decision from the side of Singularity to just drop that Rift Herald immediately and walk away from it effectively.
If there was no one there, maybe I would have been able to understand. But even then, I think it was tricky. But there was 2 players right there, and also the Rakan was slowly going to be roaming his way up there. So I was not fully understanding that position, but you know what? They gave himself a little bit of plate gold. If that's the positive aspect, it's the only positive really of that, but it's still a big waste for them, especially when Drake is coming up in the next 20 seconds. They could have popped it now to create a point of pressure elsewhere on the map and then go for the Drake and easily try and split away the forces of Team Queso, which is a big opportunity that just got lost through into the Shadow Realm, I would almost say. Team Queso, a little bit of split, 3-2 split currently happening. But yeah, cute. Waiting for that time opportunity to strike, to pop that ultimate, get a 4-man knockup if possible. That will be huge. But You're Wonderful waiting for that time to engage eventually. He's waiting for an overstep. Team Queso into the bush. Great. Oh, that's a huge one. And he has to 3-man knockup. We talked about it. It's not quite a 4-man, but it is a 3-man, and it is huge regardless. As Team Queso now onto the back foot. And this is so little damage coming out on the side of Singularity. They're going to go for the dive, looking for the extra kills. Can he escape? No. Too much CC dashed away from Singularity. And that is going to be a tower picked up, some extra gold plates coming their way, and Lee Sin also in a really good position, and I believe he's going to go straight for the Ocean Drake.
Yeah, absolutely. You go right after the Drake after that. I mean, we were just criticizing their use of the Rift Herald, but that fight was immaculate. The setup, they cleared out all the vision and then just waited, knowing that Queso was going to have to come to them. They knew that Queso was going to come and, at least look to see what was going on in the Dragon Pit. And that 3-man knockup followed by the Yasuo ultimate immediately after, just such a strong combo. You said Queso was doing almost no damage, but what damage are they supposed to do when their Olaf and their Ahri get deleted before the fight even starts?
Oh, talking about deleted, that's going to be see you later redemption. Instantly picked up. That's the kind of stuff you're expecting from their one-boy combo. Double knock up from the Rakan and also from the Malphite, and then the obliteration comes on through. But you just talked about the Olaf here, and I think that's really interesting because Olaf falling behind, he's not a character that can make comebacks really easily. He's just scaling character. I get some kills early game, late game, I destroy and obliterate everyone. He can even take 1v2s or 1v3s from time to time. But in a situation like this, he's going to really have to rely on his team to give him those kills to try and get back in a good and strong position. But as of right now, this is not looking good for him. But they're still going to try and pick the mid lane turret, get some extra gold. They're pushing as a 5-man. There's not really much that they can maybe do on the side of Singularity. Going to go for the kick. Acolyte going to be a little bit out of position, down to now 50% HP. He's going to be making it back to the safety of his team. So they don't lose anyone, but the turret will still remain alive for Singularity, which was what they were aiming for.
And this is going to be a tough one for Queso, just because you mentioned the Olaf being behind, but if you look at the gold totals just across the board, everyone on Queso is hovering in that 6,500 mark for the most part. You have Ahri, who's a little bit further ahead, and obviously the Rakan a little bit further behind as the support. But you look on the other side, and everyone's at around the 8,000 to 9,000 mark. So there's just a big gold difference. Spotted by Ward, here comes Singularity, and they immediately back off.
Instant regret. They are not happy about that decision. They're going to be going for the bump up backward. Yasuo going to go for the backline dive, but that's going to be also Ruiz going golden to survive the encounter. But unfortunately, that is not going to be lasting too long for him, as though that's going to be Team Queso falling down one by one. Only Ruiz is going to be left alive. And that should be an ace. A 5-0 kills going away of Singularity. They're trying to get... I understood why initially. Because, yes, the Lee Sin went back to base. But, man, he can walk there so quickly. And he can dash around the place. That was way too aggressive and too confident from the side of Team Queso. They should have never done that in 1,000 years.
Yeah, and they got spotted by Ward. If you're going to try and sneak the Baron like that, you need to be 100% sure that your opponent has no vision in the area. Just a really unfortunate play there for the side of Queso. They're going to fall even further behind, especially now that this Baron buff is picked up. I mean, you look at Redemption. He's fully online with this Kaisa. 2.5 items completed now. He is starting to be a menace. The most gold in the game. Now 3 items completed. That Runan's Hurricane getting picked up is just going to make it even more difficult. He's just able to just dash around these fights, just melt through anyone on the team, even the tanks. We in that last fight, I saw him jump onto the Malphite, and Malphite's health just melted. So not even the tanks are going to be able to really stand up to this Kaisa right now. And even if you can deal with the Kaisa, you still have the Yasuo to worry about right behind it. So it's just gonna be such a tall task for the side of Queso to come back in this one.
I'm not surprised that Malphite's getting melted. He is going for Leandries. He is going for a rather squishy build here, going for a lot of AP damage, which is why I still believe at this stage of the game, despite having such a big gold lead favor of Singularity, currently hitting just over the 10,000 mark, I think it's still possible. You're mainly going to be looking at the Rakan and also the Malphite to hit those big combos, synergize really well together, and maybe your team does the damage, but they need to find the opportunity, as here, that's going to be no opportunity found for the Ahri. She's going to be out instantly in the fight, just barely commenced. Instead, it's an extra 2 kills already. Olaf deep pushing in mid lane, and with that Baron buff, it's making matters so easy for Singularity to find those peaks, to find those openings, as they're going to keep on crashing this wave further and further to maybe go and crack the inhib turret soon.
And for a difference, is the difference right now in the jungle, making so many plays on this Lee Sin. There is going to be a kill here for Queso, but is that going to be anything answered? It's just going to be that 1 kill picked up, but they lost the Olaf in trade. So even when they manage to find a play and get a kill, they're still paying for it. They're losing turrets, they're losing members. Singularity just dominating right now.
Yeah, and also the only kill that they were to find in that trade-off, it was the support. It was the Alistar. So also really not fully worth it. But oh no, I'm seeing the setup. Oh, okay, no one's gonna go there. No one's gonna adventure too deep. But we also got to mention here. I'm gonna go to the FO of the side of Team Queso, and you're gonna see here the lack of vision on their side. They have no information where they're going. If they push any further than their river, and even further than their first turrets, they have no idea what they're walking into, and that lack of vision is making it super hard for them to know what steps they should adapt to, what they're going to be doing moving on forward, because lack of vision, unfortunately, is one of the main reasons why teams are not able to make comebacks happen, because you have no idea when objectives are being taken, you have no ideas when teams are just going to be bush camping, and the moment you just do not know where you're going into is when things really go downhill for your team.
Yeah, Singularity has done a very good job of setting up these picks in the jungle by taking advantage of that vision and using their vision denial to clear out any wards that do get put down by Queso, so that they can set up these brushes where they can just find someone on their own or even the full team and just pick them off. We see up in the top right now, Alistar and Lee Sin grouped together, sitting in a brush waiting.
Are they ready? Oh, no, I'm going backwards. Not going to be an opportunity they're going to be finding, though. Far a difference. As you said, he is indeed making a difference. Going to be diving on top of the Rakan, forcing a little bit of a response, having to dash away to safety. But the Baron is here. And if I was on the side of Singularity, I would not even just take the Baron. I would just threaten Baron to force a response from Team Queso. Because if they get this Baron, I'm pretty sure that's going to be ending the game abruptly for Singularity in their favor. So I would just threaten the Baron if I were them and try and force the fight coming to you. But they're not even going to do it, as Yasuo taking a fight up top, and he said it. This Malphite, he just gets melted in these games because he's got no tanky items whatsoever. I mean, he's starting to go in a little bit of a Bramble Vest, and he's going to get a little bit healthier, but it's really not much. Like, it's absolutely nothing, actually.
The team kind of trolls YQ there. They were all going to hop over with the Blast Cone into the Baron Pit. They knocked YQ actually away from the Baron Pit. He says, all right, fine, I'm just going to go up to the top lane then instead. Baron falls in favor of Singularity. And yeah, the members of Queso weren't even able to try and get into position to contest that. And now they're going to be in dire straits here on the defense.
Actually going to have to ult his way to safety, and unfortunately that ultimate is what might allow your team to make a comeback happen, but it's wasted for him to get to safety, and they're going to go for the dive. The inhib turrets are still up, but they don't give a damn about the enemy base. This is going to be Team Queso on the back foot. The heals up against the wall and unable to do anything up against this steamroll called Singularity. You're going to have to peel back once again. They still got the GA available for a difference, and he's going to get the heal also coming out from your Wonderful. So if he wants to, they can still go for the dive under tower. And Olaf does not have the Ragnarok available, so he is open to take any kind of CC in the world. The knockup comes out from the Alistar, and this is looking so easy for Singularity. Memorize is going to try and make his way back to his team, but it doesn't matter as this Nexus is now bare, and this is going to be game one of this series, going in favor of none other than Singularity.
Yeah, and again, just really strong control. There were a couple missteps, couple confusing decisions made. That moment alone is what just turned this game completely in favor of Singularity when they got that triple knockup onto both the Olaf and the Ahri, deleted them instantly, and it just never looked back from that moment.
It never did. It was not really much Team Queso could do. They still, I'm going to mention this many times because I think they were